This is Ian Hartley.
I am Warren Kay.
And I am Sasha Steenbergen.
Welcome to the Rediscovering God Dialogue.
We invite you to join us as we endeavor to see Him more clearly
And love Him more dearly while following Him more nearly. Welcome to those of you that are on this journey with us to rediscover the God that Jesus knew. And today we continue on this series. It's number 2. The first one is looking at a mantra, Ian's mantra, that God knows us by name. And today we look at the fact that we are precious to God. Ian, why don't you introduce that to us?
Okay, this is, I don't know whether to say it's a common idea or a very uncommon idea that we are precious to God. I think it depends a lot on your family of origin and how you relate to that family. So I'm talking from the perspective of that I'm precious to God. You know, you can have people who love you, but you don't feel that you're precious to them. So now I'm going to put you guys on the spot and ask you, who are you precious to? Now, let me quickly say, I'm not asking you who's precious to you. I'm asking who you are precious to, and I want you to exclude family, just to add a little zip and zest to the question.
a little zest, hey? Well, I think my heart right away goes to that I think I'm precious to my friend Karen.
Okay, your friend Karen, and why do you think your heart went there?
I think the feeling comes up of many, many, many conversations where I think both of us felt that our hearts were heard in the best, most non-judgmental way. And so my heart feels safe in her presence, and I hope that is the case for her as well.
Yeah, it's very good. You feel safe with her.
Good.
Yeah.
So for me, I had an exchange just Saturday morning. And so I would pick my friend Anita and her husband Bill. They are good friends of ours, and she had shared with me how she really appreciated the things that I shared in a group we were in Friday evening, and then again in our class, Sabbath school class, Sabbath morning. And so I felt very valued by her because I had been pretty open and didn't always say the things that she wanted to hear, but she took it in a good way and felt she really appreciated as what she expressed.
Hmm. How
And,
about for you, Ian? Who are you
yeah,
precious to?
I'm going to come there. I was in Warren's Sabbath school class by Zoom on Sabbath, and I wanted to tell Warren he did a great job, and I didn't get round to it, so I'm telling you that now, Warren.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So 36, let me see, 28 plus 8. Yeah, 36 years ago, I moved to a church to pastor and became friends with somebody who was running a herbicide and pesticide factory. He wasn't poor, but his factory wasn't doing that well.
Mm.
We became good friends. And then he became fabulously wealthy.
Mm.
Like when I say fabulously wealthy, I mean fabulously wealthy. He flies his own 8-seater helicopter. He has a gaggle of Porsches in his garage,
Mm.
and everything that opens and closes.
Mm.
And so why do I think I'm precious to him? Because our relationship hasn't changed.
Mhm.
You know, we can get together and we can really enjoy each other's company, make jokes and talk about serious things and admit what we don't know. And I'm probably one of the few people that he has theological conversations with,
Mm.
but I could be wrong on that. So it's just every time I go to South Africa, we try and spend a week together. I don't want anything from him, just his friendship. His, yeah.
And it's probably rare for him to have a friend that doesn't want anything from him.
Mhm.
And it's great to, you know, it's a good reminder that people that are very wealthy still need a good friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't either, but I'm taking it from that example that it probably happens.
Ah.
Okay, so now I thought of how do I know that I'm precious to God? I mean, sometimes the devil in me asks Irma, do you love me? Or is it a duty for you to live with me? You know, because sometimes I feel like she does so much more than I do in the relationship.
Mm.
So I need a little bit of reassurance there. So I honed in on the parable of the two sons,
Mm.
because this parable is crafted by Jesus. And in this parable, he is trying to reveal the nature of his Father, the most wonderful person in terms of caring for his creation, his two sons.
Mhm.
So I know you can find podcasts about the prodigal son, and we've done a few already. But without apology, we're going to look at it again
Mhm. Amen.
and discern in it that we are actually precious to God. He likes us. You know, that's different to loving somebody because it's your duty. They're part of the family or part of the church or whatever.
Mhm.
There's some people that are just precious to you.
Yeah.
And when you're with them, it really feels good.
Mhm. Mhm.
And this is how we want you to experience God, that when you're with him, you really feel good.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I know how to express what I'm thinking, but let me try. Oftentimes we describe God's love as a principle. It's not a feeling, because that's just who he is. And to me, what you're saying is God not only loves us, but he's especially fond of us. It does have feeling. He does have emotion there, not just a fact that, well, he loves us because I'm just one of his creations, so of course he loves me, but that I'm especially fond to him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now you steal a line straight out of the shack.
I do.
Well, yeah. And it's so powerful.
Yeah.
You know, when you say to somebody, I'm especially fond of you,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I have a parallel. It's not really as good. When I play pickleball and somebody hits a good shot, I say to them, I'm starting to like you.
I was actually going to remind you about that line because you've said it a few times over the years, and honestly, it gets me every time.
Some people really, they don't know what to do with it. They want to say, well, some of them do. Well, does that mean you didn't like me before we played? And we get into all this. But all I'm trying to say is, I think you hit a great shot. So that's really a wonderful line. I'm especially fond of you.
Mhm, mhm.
Imagine being in Jesus' company one day, and he says to Sasha, I have waited so long to be with you. I am especially fond of you.
Oh, you're going to get me crying again. Last week you had me just quietly crying the whole time, and now I'm already starting again. I actually had the coolest experience last Sabbath. We were at church, and the worship team was singing a really intentionally slow verse of How Great Thou Art. And I was singing, and it was just this incredibly beautiful experience of where my singing had to end because the tears came, and it had this feeling of God just coming like really just close, as if He was coming again, and just envelop me up, like just taking me into the biggest hug. And I was like, oh, here we go. It's too good.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sasha. Just coming back to what Warren started out with, that God's love is a principle.
Mm-hmm.
The intent of that statement is that it's not fickle.
Yes.
It doesn't come and go.
Right, right.
But the false corollary is that God has no emotional relationship with me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see, that's the conclusion you make. In
Right.
order for it to be consistent, it can't be bound up with feelings. And in a sense, that robbed us of experiencing our preciousness to God.
Mm-hmm.
Because the one moves my heart, the other one doesn't.
So let's get into the parable. It's found in Luke 15. And now this may surprise you, but Luke 15 is not found in the other Gospels. The prodigal son story and the Good Samaritan stories are not told by the Jewish Gospel writers, only by Luke. Because these two parables get too close to the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're into Luke 15, verse 11.
To illustrate the point further, Jesus told them this story. A man had two sons. The younger son told his father, I want my share of your estate now, before you die. So his father agreed to divide his wealth between his two sons.
A few days later, this younger son packed all his belongings and moved to a distant land, and there he wasted all his money in wild living. About the time his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land, and he began to starve. He persuaded a local farmer to hire him, and the man sent him into his fields to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs looked good to him, but no one gave him anything.
When he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, At home, even the hired servants have food enough to spare, and here I am, dying of hunger. I will go home to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against both heaven and you, and I am no longer worthy of being called your son. Please take me on as a hired servant.
So, thank you. What do you find interesting so far. I mean, I find the Father unbelievably kind. If my child said to me, I want my inheritance now before you die, sell what you've got and give me half, I wouldn't react this way.
Especially in a culture where shame was such a big thing.
Yeah.
And he brought so much shame on this family because it's unheard of to think of even doing this. And he did it. He didn't just think of it.
Yeah.
He did ask for his inheritance, which is basically saying, Dad, I wish you were dead.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's such embarrassment that he brought to that family.
Yeah. And then he wastes it all.
Yeah.
And Jesus is crafting the story, is taking him from abundance to poverty. And it's not just financial poverty, it's poverty of existence. Look what happens. His money is wasted. A great famine sweeps over the land. He begins to starve. The man sends him to feed the pigs. Okay, that's as low as a Jewish boy can get. Okay, feeding pigs. And it takes him another step down. He became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs looked good.
Well, and even the man wasn't looking for a laborer. He had to persuade the man to hire him.
Right.
Yeah, good insight. So then he comes to his senses, and it explains what that means. At home, even the hired servants have food enough, and here I am dying of hunger. I will go home to my father and say, Father, I've sinned against both heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy of being called your son. Take me on as a hired servant. Have you ever made up speeches when you were going to see somebody?
In my mind.
I might immediately think of high school when the principal sent for me. I made up a few alternative speeches depending upon what he was going to ask me. This boy is going home for all the wrong reasons. He's not going home because he's missed his father, his mother, or his brother. He's going home because he's a loser and he's hungry. He's lost his identity. His self-image is that of a servant or a slave. And he's going home for what he can get out of his father. And in this case, it's minimalistic. It's just food. So we're on verse 20, and we're going to continue the story.
So he returned home to his father, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. Filled with love and compassion, he ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him.
So this emotional outburst is almost unique in the Hebrew scriptures. Jesus is revealing how the Father feels about his Son, which means about us. Now notice the verbs here. He ran, he embraced, he kissed him. The Greek actually implies that he couldn't stop kissing him. So running was something that men did not do in public. And this father does it with gusto. We're back in the text, verse 21.
But before we leave the running,
Yeah.
What I picture is this young man is coming home, and as he's journeying home, word is spreading, and villagers are following him because they can't wait to see the fireworks when this boy gets home. He has so embarrassed his family, and they're taunting him. And the father could have waited for him to get to the gate, but he runs down because he doesn't want him to endure that humiliation one moment longer, that all the villagers that were taunting him were pouring on him, and he runs there to rescue him from that experience. That's my picture.
Wow.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
love that.
You're building the picture that this boy is precious to his father.
Yeah.
His father is especially fond of him.
His son said to him, Father, I have sinned against both heaven and you, and I am no longer worthy of being called your son.
So the father completely ignores the speech and reacts as follows.
Well, he interrupts him because he was going to say, make me a servant, but he doesn't get there. The father interrupts him. His father said to the servants, quick, bring the finest robe in the house and put it on him. Get a ring for his finger and sandals for his feet, and kill the calf we've been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast, for this son of mine was dead and has now returned to life. He was lost, but now he is found. So the party began.
So the robe, the ring, the sandals, and the party are not because the father is ashamed of his son and cannot bear the sight of him. Now we make this point because the explanation has been that we need the righteousness of Jesus to cover us because God can't bear to look at filthy sinners.
Right.
That's not the reason that the father is embracing him and kissing him before he gets the robe on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's another reason for the robe. And the reason is it's to change the way the boy thought of himself.
Mm-hmm.
It was to deal with his shame and guilt and to convey to the boy that he was precious to his father.
Mm-hmm.
And all this is for us, is we are clothed with the robe of Christ's righteousness to tell us God does not see us as hopelessly lost sinners, unable to be in relationship with him, but that he sees us as his precious children who have taken a detour, and it's time to come back and be in relationship with him. So here's a parallel story from the Old Testament. Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1 to 5. We're going to read it. And we're going to read 1 and 2 first.
Then the angel showed me Jeshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord. The accuser Satan was there at the angel's right hand, making accusations against Jeshua. And the Lord said to Satan, I, the Lord, reject your accusation, Satan. Yes, the Lord who has chosen Jerusalem rebukes you. This man is like a burning stick that has been snatched from the fire.
Thank you. So Joshua, the high priest, is the holiest man in Israel. And Satan, the accuser, is accusing him. And the Lord doesn't get into an argument with the accuser about whether or not Joshua is a perfect, obedient child of his. He says to him, well, look what he says to him. I, the Lord, reject your accusation, Satan. Yes, the Lord who has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. This man is like a stick that has been snatched from the fire. I've saved this man from the destruction you were bringing on him. This man is precious to me. I am especially fond of him. So now we're ready for, before we go there. When the Bible speaks of judgment in terms of God, this picture is normative. This is how we need to think of judgments associated with God, is that there's an accuser accusing God's people to him, and God is on their side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got their back.
Mm-hmm.
So look what happens in verse 3.
Joshua's clothing was filthy as he stood there before the angel. So the angel said to the others standing there, take off his filthy clothes. And turning to Joshua, he said, I have taken away your sins, and now I'm giving you these fine new clothes.
Yeah, and let's read verse 5 too.
Then I said, they should also place a clean turban on his head. So they put a clean priestly turban on his head and dressed him in new clothes while the angel of the Lord stood by.
So this last bit is, we don't only want a change in his body image, we want a change in the way he thinks and feels.
Mm-hmm.
This is a total makeover.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just not the outside. It includes the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm back in Luke 15. There's 3 stories of lost being found. There's the lost sheep, there's the lost coin, and the lost boy. And in all 3 instances, it says there's joy in heaven over one sinner that comes home. It does not matter about the motives which the sinner had in coming home. What matters is the sinner came home, and this brought joy to the Heavenly Father's heart. And in all 3 instances, they throw a party. And now I want to take you back to Zechariah 3, nothing like skipping around. This story of the judgment of Joshua the high priest, the accusation by the Satan, is prophetic of the second coming. Why? Because this son needed a new robe for whatever he had on, and we need new bodies for old. This son was given this ring of authority, and at the second coming, we are given the authority to sit on God's throne with him and minister to the whole universe. The sandals are symbolic of people at the second coming become sandaled ambassadors for God to wing our way to distant galaxies, to tell our story of how precious we are to God.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we're invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is huge value-added event for sinners, to actually get invited to this marriage supper. And I want to refer to something Luke says in Luke 12:37 about who serves the people at the marriage supper of the Lamb.
The servants who are ready and waiting for their return will be rewarded. I tell you the truth, he himself will seat them, put on an apron, and serve them as they sit and eat.
Who is this? This is Jesus himself.
Mm.
And I always had this picture that Jesus would be sitting at the head of this long table, and there was closed circuit television, so you could see Jesus for most of it. Meanwhile, what does Jesus say? I will seat you, I'll put on an apron and serve you so you can sit and eat and enjoy the marriage supper of the Lamb. How cool is that, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
So now we go back to the Luke 15. We're on verse 25.
Meanwhile, the older son was in the fields working. When he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house. And he asked one of the servants what was going on. Your brother is back, that he was told, and your father has killed the fattened calf. You're celebrating because of his safe return.
The older brother was angry and wouldn't go in. His father came out and begged him, but he replied, all these years I've slaved for you and never once refused to do a single thing you told me to do.
So this older brother is angry. He won't go into the party. And the father doesn't stay at the party and ask where he is. He goes and finds him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And makes a personal appeal to him to come in.
Yeah.
And listen to his anger. All these years I've slaved for you and never once refused to do a single thing you told me to do. This is an obedient, faithful, hard-working, diligent son.
Mm-hmm.
See, Jesus is crafting this story because his own people are like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gentiles are represented by the other son who went off and just wasted everything in having a great time. This is an angry, resentful, suspicious, unforgiving, bitter son. I've met a lot of bitter people in my life, many of them at the end of their lives, and it's tragic. We're on verse 31.
And in all that time you never gave me even one young goat for a feast with my friends. Yet when this son of yours comes back after squandering your money on prostitutes, you celebrate by killing the fattened calf.
His father said to him, "Look, dear son, you have always stayed by me, and everything I have is yours. We had to celebrate this happy day, for your brother was dead and has come back to life. He was lost, but now he is found."
Did he come in? We don't know. This is how one is lost. It's not through ignorance. It's not through weakness. It's not through a bad self-image. It is through an angry refusal to come in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is illustrated so graphically in Revelation chapter 6, when the rich and the poor, the mighty and the weak see the second coming, and they call on the rocks and mountains to fall on them and hide them from the wrath of the Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the wrath of the Lamb. Nobody's afraid of a lamb. You pick up lambs and cuddle them.
Mm-hmm.
This passage in Revelation is saying there's something wrong in the people's hearts who don't want to see the Lamb. And it's illustrated here by Jesus. This bitterness of spirit, this refusal to forgive others. This is what he couldn't do. He couldn't forgive his brother for wasting the family's fortune and now coming back, and in his eyes pretending nothing had happened. I mean, what would have satisfied this older son? Even if the young son had come back and said to him, "Brother, I did wrong. I don't want any of your fortune. I'm just hungry." It probably wouldn't have made any difference.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you have a bitter spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's Timothy Keller that makes the observation that the custom of the day was that the elder son would go and search out the younger brother and try to convince him to come home.
Mm.
But I don't think this elder brother was interested in doing that. He resented the fact when he did come home.
Yeah.
So he was probably some guilt in feeling like I didn't do what I should have done, and he's come back anyway. And yeah, he was in a bad state.
So Jesus says this. He says, "What I say unto you, I say unto all, watch." Now, what does he want us to watch about? So in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus asked his three best friends to watch with him in prayer when he feels like he's dying emotionally and spiritually. And what did he want them to do? He wanted them to say to him, "Your Father loves you. We love you. You have blessed thousands of people. It's not in vain. Whatever is coming upon you, we're there with you. We'll be with you." Instead, what happens? they sleep. Why do they sleep? Because they have no interest in what Jesus is going through. So what is happening here is the spirit within them is being revealed. And when you read Luke chapter 9, 52 to 56, and I want us to read it, Luke 9, 52 to 56.
He sent messengers ahead to a Samaritan village to prepare for his arrival. But the people of the village did not welcome Jesus because he was on his way to Jerusalem. When James and John saw this, they said to Jesus, "Lord, should we call down fire from heaven to burn them up?" But Jesus turned and rebuked them. So they went on to another village.
Thank you. In other translations, it says, Jesus rebuked them and said, "You do not know the spirit that is within you."
Mm-hmm.
They had not watched the spirit that was in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What was their spirit? Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They wanted to call down fire on the Samaritans. That's the problem. That's what we need to watch for. There's a new earth and a new heaven coming. And Jesus, the one we rejected and tortured and executed, will be there. After willing you through the Spirit, he will be watching for you, waiting for you, longing for you, because you are precious to him. He is especially fond of you.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be watching the gates for your coming through. He knows you by name. He has a robe, a ring, sandals, and a fatted calf for you.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, we thank you for being in such close relationship with each one of us. We pray for our poor hearts that we might realize how important we are to you. Thank you, even though it took your death, your torture and death, to convince us, you were willing to do it. Thank you so much. There's none like you. We worship you. Amen.
Amen. Find the recording of our podcast on our website, as well as the PDF document that we've been using, so you can follow along or at least see all the passages. And so that website is rediscoveringgod.ca, and on there is the PDF document, the link for the podcast, as well as our YouTube link. We are now on YouTube. So if you want to see us live, then you can go and watch it on YouTube.
Wonderful. And we'd also love to invite you to our Monday evening Zoom discussion where Ian and Warren lead us out. And we are currently going through the podcast where we get to have discussion and really dive in a little deeper and get our most pressing questions answered. It's a really wonderful time of fellowship and connection with the group. We share in community and resources as well. We'd really love to have you join us. We're going to be meeting at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. You just add in the link 403-506-9201. We'd love to see you.
And if you'd like to connect with us, you can reach us at rediscoveringgod2020@gmail.com. Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you and know how this journey of rediscovering the God that Jesus knew is changing your life. Take care.